There was a report in 2011 put out by the WHO which said India is sinking under the weight of its own fecal matter. That's what was the first sentence. If our country is sinking under the weight of our own fecal matter, imagine what kind of health status we can aspire, tourism status we can aspire, allocations under various government programs only for the rural development alone. Union and state governments spend 8 lakh crores a year. That's a huge, huge money. 8 lakh crores of rupees every year for only rural development. I'm not including urban in this, and industries, various other things, agriculture, things like that, just for rural development, which means health, education, nutrition, sanitation, drinking water, gender, child, woman, rural employment, and environment. 8 lakh crores. We are looking at a communication strategy. All along, we trusted that we are responsible for what we are saying. Governments, please, governments. I am going back to my HIV/AIDS days. We all thought until then, we, the government, are responsible for what we are saying and not for what you understand. Therefore, the initial strategy of communication to prevent and control HIV/AIDS was, you be careful, things like that started. HIV is a demon, that's what we said. It can be communicated through 1, 2, 3, 4, blood, through unprotected sex, mother to child, and through IDU, you know. This is what we said. So, the communication strategy from 88 in this country on HIV/AIDS till 94 was such a disaster that if somebody had gone and tested positive, he had concealed himself, his status, and he went on spreading it even without his knowledge. And if somebody had known in the community that Mr. So-and-so or Mrs. So-and-so is HIV positive, the community has ostracized the individual. Because we said, virus is the demon. We చూసే ఉంటారు భూతం, HIV భూతం అని పెద్ద పెద్ద గోళ్ళు, 2 కొమ్ములు, నల్లగా ఉన్న బొమ్మ ఒకటి వేసి మనిషిని మింగేసేటట్టుగా ఫస్ట్ అడ్వర్టైజ్మెంట్ వచ్చిందండి దీని మీద, HIV/AIDS మీద. కమ్యూనికేషన్ స్ట్రాటజీ ఎట్లా ఉండాలి అంటే, నేను ఐ విల్ గివ్ యూ జస్ట్ 2 examples. ఐ విల్ గివ్ యూ 3 examples. యునైటెడ్ ఇండియా ఇన్సూరెన్స్ కంపెనీ అని ఒకటి ఉంది కదండి, గొప్పగా చేసేది కాదండి. ఆల్మోస్ట్ నేను పీడీగా పనిచేసిన రోజుల్లో కూడా న్యూ ఇండియా అష్యూరెన్స్ కంపెనీ అని ఒకటి, ఓరియంటల్ ఇన్సూరెన్స్ కంపెనీ అని 2 చాలా బాగా ఉండేవి. యునైటెడ్ ఇండియా ఇన్సూరెన్స్ కంపెనీస్ పెర్ఫార్మెన్స్ వాజ్, far from satisfactory. They picked up a woman for her communication skills and made her the chief of communications in United India Insurance Company. The first slogan she had put out was, it was 91, remember. She said, with United India, it is always you before I. You are always important, you before I. 6 months from then, United India Insurance Company topped in its business. Immediately followed by a tile company. Tiles, tiles. I don't remember the name of the company, but I remember the advertisement. On the newspaper, they have put beautiful Taj Mahal photo. The question raised on the Taj Mahal was, if this is Taj Mahal, and like this, they said, you know why Taj Mahal was constructed with marbles? Question. You know why Taj Mahal was constructed with marbles? It was a question to all the readers they have thrown, and they said, watch this space tomorrow for answer. Same space, watch this space tomorrow for answer. I was very keen. What kind of stupid question? It was constructed 500-600 years back, and this fellow is asking, why was it constructed with marbles? And next day I was very anxious to see what could be the answer. You know what it said? Because our tiles were not available at that time. Because our tiles were not available at that time. Lakapothe, Shah Jahan must have picked up our tiles for Taj Mahal. Somewhere, కమ్యూనికేషన్ అనేది ఎట్లా ఉండాలి అంటే, తర్వాతి పదం మనిషి మాట్లాడుతున్నాడు అని అనుకోండి, ఏం పదం నెక్స్ట్ వాడబోతున్నాడు అని ఆ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ని గ్రాబ్ చేయగలిగితే, ఐ థింక్ యూ హ్యావ్ సక్సీడెడ్ వెరీ గ్రేట్లీ. లేదా మనం బయటపెట్టేటువంటి ఒక అంశం ఏ విధంగా అందరి దృష్టిని చూరగొంటుంది. You must be seeing a lot of brochures and handouts coming in our newspapers, kada? Paper తీస్తే దాంట్లో handouts వస్తాయి కదా, pamphlet లో. ఎప్పుడైనా చూస్తున్నామా దాన్ని? ఇంకా విసుక్కుంటాం అసలు. మనం హాయిగా న్యూస్ పేపర్ చదువుకుంటా ఉంటే మధ్యలో వాడెవడో చెత్త కాగితాన్ని పెట్టి మన టైం వేస్ట్. It requires your extra energy to take it out and then throw it into the dustbin. సో పేపర్ మీద ప్రింట్ చేయటం అని అంటే దానికి ప్రత్యేకమైనటువంటి ఒక స్కిల్ కావాలి. దానికి తోడు ఈ రోజుల్లో ఎలక్ట్రానిక్ మీడియం ఎంత పవర్ఫుల్ గా ఉంది అంటే, ఈ వాటిని ఉపయోగించుకోవడానికి అవసరమైనటువంటి వనరులతో పాటు అవగాహన. ₹1,00,000 ఒక అడ్వర్టైజ్మెంట్ ఇస్తున్నాము అంటే, ఈ లక్షకి వాట్ ఈస్ ది రిటర్న్ దట్ యు ఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు గెట్ ఫర్ దిస్ $1 lakh? I still remember I worked with UNICEF long time back. I had a colleague by name Mr. Ode Dirong. He was a Nigerian. Oluwafemi Ode Dirong was his full name. He was in charge of water and environmental sanitation. There was a workshop in Anantapur district. Mr. I think Mr. Tucker was the collector at that time. So he invited water and environmental sanitation, please come for a workshop and all. This fellow, Oluwafemi, told me, Chandu, what we'll do is, among all other items in it, let us target hand washing before taking food and after ablutions. Next 6 months, entire Anantapur district, everybody would be doing it. My God. Simple. You can put everything, school hygiene, then the community hygiene, all other components can go into it. Handling of drinking water, safe disposal of human fecal matter, all that can go into it. But one important point would be hand washing with soap before taking food and after ablutions. I said yes. And from the start to the end, we bombarded. We said how it can be unsafe. You may think your hands may be so clean, but the man who would have brought this notebook, and inserted into your pack, his hands could have been unclean. There may be bacteria here. It can also contaminate you. All that we said. And the collector was so impressed, he said, come on, all of us get up and then we will take an oath that from today, not only we, our family members will all wash our hands before taking food and after ablutions. Followed by wherever you are working, at least one village you will adopt and you will make it. People thought it is so very easy to go, ask people, wash your hands with soap. But then everybody did that. After that there was a small session. The session was over. The executive engineer at that time, we had only one executive engineer for both RWS as well as Panchayat Raj, etc. Kareem, the guy called Kareem? That guy came and in his own style, you'll never speak one full sentence. You have to understand. He speaks half sentence and you have to understand. He said, now ready, lunch, again 2:30. That is understood. That is Kareem. He's a great friend, so I don't mind playing jokes on him. So the people got up to reassemble at 2:30. Trust me, none of them washed their hands. Everyone had dashed into the food. I asked the collector, you think it's so very easy? Behavioral change is so very easy? You have taken an oath. Half an hour back you took an oath. And you see, we are there, taken to a table. And we were watching how people are reacting to the spread there. People simply rushed to the buffet, arranged there, and they picked up, they started eating. The collector was shocked. This can happen very casually, but after taking an oath, I say, my God, half an hour back. So trying to attempt a change in the behavior of people is not easy. Money is available in this country. Lorry loads of money is available for carrying out any number of communication interventions. But converting or transcribing words into action is what is important. Unfortunately, something like that into which people would be interested. We are attempting through all the kinds of communications, we are attempting literate people to go through some kind of information that you pass on in the print and to practice. But we are looking at rural areas where large number of people are illiterate. Is there some kind of a communication that can reach them? One thing Vijay Raghavan from the Sound and Drama Division had done for various programs through the folk arts is extraordinarily touching. Perhaps we may make use of the Sound and Drama Division. Reddy has a long list of voluntary effort which can work in the rural areas. Thanks to UNICEF, they have realized a large band of 38,500 people called Bharat Nirman volunteers. They can be used. Ultimately, what is required today is not just the material for communicating what governments want, but somebody to act as a bridge between the program's content and the community to which this content has to go and reach. There's a human element that is required. The fuse between the two is the human being. And that human being, unfortunately, I had been a collector of a district, so you would all appreciate if I am going to talk about it. Take it very positively. Our people in the system, either an A&M, an Anganwadi worker, a school teacher, a panchayat secretary, or anybody who works at the cutting edge level, is a government servant ultimately. He works for a salary. He has certain job responsibilities which he thinks he or she can perform. But behavioral change is a work that is beyond the job responsibility of a government servant, and not many people are willing to extend that kind of service. Therefore, the hypothesis again, two components. One, the aware community to demand services, aware community. And service delivery sector. What is proved beyond doubt all across the globe is, if the aware community demands gently, service delivery sector, however bad it is willing to respond. If the mother is aware that the child has to be inoculated, and if she goes with the child and says to the PHC doctor, leave the A&M behind. I am yet to come across a doctor who said, sorry, I won't give your child the immunization. The service delivery sector is willing to respond. There are problems. Maybe the problems may even include construction of a toilet, bills not paid. So the 40% whom we go and request, why don't you take up a toilet? They ask us a question back. Oh, I have bill toilet వ్యవస్థలో పక్కన మనం కాస్త కరెక్షన్స్ చేసుకుంటూ పోతే తప్ప ఇలాంటి పనులకు జవాబు దొరకదు అనేటువంటి మాట చెబుతూ రెడ్డి చెప్పిన దాంట్లో స్ట్రాటజీలో కూడా ప్రాంతాల వారీగా దేర్ ఆర్ యాసలు భాషలు గురించి మాట్లాడాడు ఆయన. ప్రాంతాలు మారుతాయి. Every lyric can't be played on the same musical instrument, isn't it? Every lyric can't be played on the same musical instrument. Some have to be played on tabla, some have to be played on veena, some have to be played on a trumpet. The lyric decides which instrument has to be used, and that's the headache of the music director in a given situation. Therefore, keep the regions and the region's needs also in mind. I'll conclude by saying, I have a lot of things to say. Let me see, it's 2 days workshop, I can also come back a little later. I have one small point to submit. We are all suffering it. Every government servant today is working to the kind of limits up to which he is supposed to exert. నేను ఒప్పుకుంటాను. అందరూ ఏదో జనసామాన్యం చెప్పినట్టుగా ప్రభుత్వంలో అధికారులు పనిచేయడం లేదు, నేను ఒప్పుకోను. అందరు కష్టపడుతున్నాం. ఎవ్రీ వన్ ఆఫ్ us is really putting in our ultimate. But why are the results not coming? చాలా సింపుల్. 8 లక్షల కోట్లు ఖర్చు పెడుతున్నాము, ఫలితాలు ఎందుకు రావట్లేదు? ఇంతకాలం మనం ద ట్రెడ్మిల్ మీద పరిగెడుతున్నామండి మనం. When the target is somewhere there, you are running on the treadmill. How would you reach the target? There must be some kind of an effort from all governments, states, union territories, Government of India, and multilateral agencies. People like you sitting in workshops like this, consultations like this, to realize that we need to step down from the treadmill and put in the same effort so that you can reach the target.